Dear friends, hello, good day. We continue our work, and our today's topic is the customer's profile. So, this is psychographical profile and getting an answer to the question how to read your customer, how to find out those internal desires and wants he has. And this is the task. And please note that at our previous session, we discussed what customers want, what their needs are. And there was a matrix, the point of view of a customer that describes the needs and demands of a customer in his own words, not in the concepts of the products and goods, but in the terms of the benefits for the customers. And we studied a simple technology of how to turn these customers' needs into those words you will use and that will be perceived by the customers in an acceptable way. And this way you will come to an accord. And we had an easy technology or a tool that even a robot could master. And my task here is not to give you a fish, but equip you with a fishing stick so that you can catch the fish on your own by using these tools or methods or technologies to make good presentations, good mini stories about your products and their benefits and advantages for your customers when they deal with you, your company, and benefit from these products. And in this particular case, the product is called legal policy. And now let us discuss of how to be on the same page with your customer. This topic would be a bit more complicated compared to what we have studied before, and therefore it will require some efforts. And it's good because there are elementary 6 rules for a personality, for a man being. And the first rule is that we are developed when we do something with some efforts, when we develop new skills or new habits. So, efforts are a means of self perfection. So, therefore, if you want to communicate with our clients, with our customers, you need to take efforts to practice your speech, to practice those phrases you will use and rehearse them. The second skill is firstly to do what is needed and then what you want to. Why is it important? Look, when a person does something, our nature is the following, that when we do it 10 or 15 minutes, so our subconsciousness believes that it is very important, this action is very important, and therefore quite often it's very difficult for us to get rid of something not important at this particular moment and pay your full attention to those things that are very vital at this particular moment. Give me a second, please, because there is a message. I do apologize. If there are questions, I will answer them in the end. The third rule is there are no mistakes. There are lessons only. Look, some people say that we must learn on mistakes. It's not a good approach, I believe. You should learn on one mistake, not mistakes. and practice on successes. The fourth important skill for a person who takes your approach or a similar approach, those who have some exciting products. So it's very important to control our emotions, our feelings. And how can you do it? By your tone of voice. Yes, you can say very important statements, smart sentences. But if your voice is low, then people start doubting that we know what we say. Therefore, we should sound confident, trustworthy, sincere, and all these influence the emotions. If there are a lot of emotions that support our words, what we say, then the likelihood that the person will decide and say yes increases exponentially. Another important skill to note is that there is something important and urgent. Some urgent things occupy our lives, and we have no time for the important things. And therefore, no matter how urgent it is, and generally the urgent things are those that you failed to do yesterday, and refuse everything except for future. So devote some time for your future, for the most important things. The closer we are, so the less costs it will incur for the future. In the end, so actually I told you how you can avoid rude people and neutralize this negative impact of this rudeness on you. So, to learn a lesson means to transform a mistake into the search of new innovations, of new improvements. And you see, I set a goal for myself one day to understand how to become more efficient in communications and sales. As there are no PhDs in sales, there are PhDs in psychology and other sciences, and they pay more attention to the challenges of the mankind, whereas we deal with opportunities and involve our prospects into them. I am against the term a problem, a challenge. My favorite word is the task. What is our task? You'd better ask such a question. You'd better ask, which tasks do you have, rather than ask them, which problems do you have? Do you feel the difference? So it is different a lot. And the language is a power, a great power, which distinguishes us from all the others, and you must use it in a smart way. And here you see a picture of Noam Chomsky. He is a neuro-linguist, and his ideas are very similar to what I'm saying to you. And he says that the human language ability originates from biology, whereas the language is the math system. So we see with our eyes, but not everything. The eyes can see, but we, using the knowledge we have, can computerize and actually visualize what we see. So the language is the hierarchy of the world, hierarchy of understanding of those phenomena we see in front of us, or those phenomena we project for the future. So this when we do strategic planning, and the language helps us to explore this world through the language. Because of the language, there are so many people on this planet. We know how to exchange our knowledge not through DNA but through the language. And it could be the most important thing that we transfer, we share our knowledge. Therefore, we must learn to say the proper words at the proper time. The next slide is the following. I want to show you how our hemispheres work, our logics work, intuition work. Look, the left hemisphere reads letters. It's for logics, whereas the right hemisphere needs to perceive the whole word, to imagine, to visualize it in our mind. And look, there is an example given. And I believe it has been translated into other languages as well. Look, according to the results of our joint study, it doesn't matter in what order the letter is in the word, the letters are in the word. The only thing which important is that the first and the last letters are in the correct position. All the others could be a mess, and you can still read the text. And actually, we have done it quite easily. You see that there is a scrambled order of the letters here. And by the way, if you read the text orderly, progressively, it will be in a different way. Doesn't can read ta blob. So we don't read this way. And in a similar way, we explore this world. And in a similar way, we have a dialogue and contact our dear interlocutors. And therefore, to be more efficient in these chats or talks with your prospects, you are desired to have a broader horizons of your knowledge, and the more intelligent you are, the easier for you to find the proper words. And today we will learn additional information that will enable you to see much more in your prospects, in your customers, rather than before. I'd like to repeat one quotation by Engels, and he said the following. I will remind you that eagle's eyes are 300 times more efficient than a man's eye. Our knowledge, but actually we know and we can see much more than the eagle can because of our knowledge. Well, the first thing to note is that the majority, 99% of salespeople, do not know this simple information I managed to visualize. Next slide, please, in the Russian room. In the English room. You can even experiment. Look, when you look at the world, when you look at something, at present, I am looking at my screen of my laptop, but we have the internal sight. When we recall something, then we can see quite clearly our walking along the sea coast, the sunset, the birds singing and flying, the noise of the sea, or the voice of the person you know. And when I describe it, you also start feeling this walking, the warmth of the sand, and there is the internal inside sight. For instance, I can ask you to visualize or to imagine Moscow. If you visited Moscow, you may not imagine it. When mean in order to understand another person, you must see with your own eyes what he is talking about. And the picture you see in your screens right now is about our internal perception, our internal sight. And look, when I ask you to think over a thing you have and you like it, simply imagine it. A person starts thinking, and then I ask, and where is the image of this thing? Not the thing itself, but generally when people recall something good, so they actually can visualize this object very close to them. And this is the reason that sometimes the salespeople say, "Do you like it?" "Yes, I do." Let's have a closer look. And when you get closer, something you like, your feelings, your emotions strengthen even more. And suppose, do you have such a thing which long, long ago you needed to throw away, but you didn't do it? Please imagine this thing. So generally, people show it somewhere there, showing a side. Look, those things we don't like, but we recall frequently, we do not put them in front of us, but from a side, to our left or to our right. We say, wow, I don't care. And when you try to explain to something, you don't even notice your hands movements. So when you say something positive, then you keep your hands in front of yourself and you demonstrate with your hands the image of this object which you see through your internal sight. But if something is not important, you show some gestures aside. And look, if a person is sitting a bit aside in front of you, or he looks at you with his side sight, then he may not treat you or treat properly the important information. Therefore, you'd better position yourself so that he looks at you straight, but not from a side. Therefore, if you tell them something or demonstrate something, you should sit in front of them. And when a person likes something, he says, or you say, let's discuss it or have a closer look or discuss it in more detail. And therefore, please look at this picture. You may use it when you have your dialogues, your meetings, your negotiations. It's important. Why? Because if I provide my information sitting aside, it will be perceived worse than if I'm sitting straight in front of my prospect. So you may use this information. And please remember that when you get a closer look, the feelings grow stronger. Therefore, please remember about this rule many people don't know. And now, let's move to Chomsky ideas and the levels of thinking and speech. So this is a pyramid of our thinking, because when we are aware of these levels, we can influence a lot. Well, there are several logical levels in the thinking of mankind, and they are related with our speech. Well, look, a person starts thinking at the level of his surrounding when he says the words which are answers to the question, where do the events take place, when do the events happen, and who these events happen to, who participates in the events, and etc. So, for instance, I may tell my potential prospect, Tom, you are daily at work and your main focus is your customers, your employees. You have to meet them, to run meetings, communicate, negotiate, and etc. And this is the level of surrounding. So, those things such as negotiations, meetings, what I see around myself, those things I see. And this is the first level of thinking. So, it reflects what I see in front of my eyes. Whereas the next level of behavior, a person is a behavior type thinker if he answers the question, what happens? What do you do? What do you feel when you do it? This is the level when they focus verbs, actions. What happens around? What other people do? What changes? What we feel when it happens? For instance, I may say, I have dialogues with my partners. I see his needs, understand what is important for them. We coordinate our interests, we prioritize, and when we do it, you start feeling that our product has some sense and it is of high relevance. And therefore, these people pay more attention to actions, to the verbs. So, the main part of speech for them is the verb. There is another level, higher level, the level of skills. How do I do it? Which skills do I show? What are the strengths or weaknesses? And the key role is played by adverbs. Freely, indifferently. And we may talk to people at this level. And please note, dear friends, that this information about the skills is of hidden nature. It could be identified by following some characteristics, attributes. When I talk to you, by my reaction, tones, by my gestures and postures, you can understand whether I'm good at this information or not. Look, maybe all of you who are listening to me right now, you drive your cars or any other vehicle, and you may notice that at the first stage of your driving experience, you didn't notice and were focused on driving. But as soon as you gain more and more experience in driving, you can even control many other processes. You may not look at the traffic lights, but stop when is needed. And you keep the distance, but at the same time, quite surprisingly, you actually see those things that are hidden. You understand that this car behaves in a strange way, so therefore you should keep distance or let it go first. So there is this hidden, indirect information. And the level of skills is the ability to see the hidden information, which is not obvious to read. And that is the level of adverbs. Look, at this level, you may say, Tom, look, you are very attentive to the people you are talking to. You have a skill to stop talking on time. You can find and tell a person something, and he will actually be influenced by you because they will reveal something new. You may spot up some traits, some qualities of this person. But there is even a higher level, and this is a level of values. The level of skills, by the way, predators and animals are very good at skills because they can easily realize whether they will chase another animal or not. But there is a higher level, and that is the level of values. Why do we need them? What is the purpose? Why are we doing this? So, what is important? What is most valuable? What motivates us? And the level of values, look, I highlighted it with red color. This is the level of our desires, of our wishes. This is the level where a butterfly waves its wings. And I can tell you the following. So, this is a level of your dreaming, of your ability to dream, of your ability to anticipate, to predict your future, the ability to plan, to create and build your future that will come only tomorrow. It is not existing today, but this is a level of dreamers who create tomorrow. And it is revealed in people. For instance, if math is number one in your life, sport is number second, then I believe that, first of all, you will do what is really important for you and then will go to a gym. But if you prioritize the gym, then your level of thinking is different. Look, our values, they help us prioritize. And in a subconscious way, we make choices between our values. And this is the reason why, dear friends, the corporate culture is so important. The values, the corporate values are important, the corporate brand, because the corporate brand embraces the values of its founders, of its managers, executive officers. And when the employees are recruited in line of the values, you don't need to control them because these values will make them make correct decisions and it reduces the time burden. There is even a higher level, and that is the level of being. This is an answer to the question, who am I? Who are you? What do you think of yourself? And here you can use such a word as to redefine yourself and use a metaphor about yourself. You are a designer of your success. Dear friends, by the way, I must tell you that each of you in your life, you had such moments, and many of them when someone told you something and your life changed. I'm sure you will remember these incredible moments from your life when your parents or someone else or you may have told yourself something. It's very interesting. And I had such a situation in my life when there was a book of Richard Feynman in, so he was reading the lectures, he was lecturing in the California University, and my dad bought 2 volumes of this book, and I was so inspired by reading it. And then in summertime, I bought another book of this Deutsch, our famous mathematician and academician. So these are those moments we all have, those life transforming moments. It's cool, it's great. And this what it means to explore the world. So, and my values were to do the math and to study physics and to go to the gym. So, what is your nickname? At this level, we should call ourselves or other people we influence a name. For instance, I say, my name is Vasyutin, but I can use my nickname. Therefore, for every verb, you can find a similar noun. And if the nouns are great, if the nicknames are great, you can edit them. You can edit the text, whereas you can edit your destiny and make it better. You may call yourself the editor of your destiny. Wow. And the idea immediately changes. And finally, there is a higher level that is your mission, your global role, your footprint in other people on the universe, and the way you affect the world where you live. And those effects you create for those who are near and dear to you. And this is the pyramid of the logics level. It's not the pyramid of Maslow of needs. And this is the pyramid where the values are created in line with the values we have. And to master this pyramid of logical levels, I would recommend you, in case we have an offline session, I would separate you into groups of 5 people each, and there will be a captain in each, and we will set any topic, for instance, floating a boat in the ocean, and the captain will say, assigning any person, for instance, the level of surrounding, and our participant must speak non-stop for 40 seconds only at the level of surrounding. I believe it's clear. He says, it's 5 a.m. So I wake up, the sun rises, I go out and I walk along the road and get to the destination where our team meets. And the meeting is arranged for 7 a.m. Next to the tree with a huge hole. And I come to this tree and he describes what he sees in parallel. There is one girl, another one. So the next person will speak as if he is at the level of behavior. And then he describes what we do. The next level is the level of skills. We describe how we do it. And it should be non-stop. So without controlling your thoughts. The next level is of values, why we do it. We walk or travel around the world to open new horizons, new borders, to meet new opportunities, to learn about the lives of other people. So we are discoverers. And this way you are to practice these levels and you will feel the power and the strength of the language that can easily inspire people and talk to them in a more efficient, effective way. And it's great to travel along the levels. You go to the upper level and then go to the down level. And there is a joke, by the way. It is the following. It's Moscow, 1933, wintertime. A small boy is making snowballs and throws them at the wall. Makes snowballs and throws them at the wall, but he misses and he throws a snowball at the window. The window is broken, and a janitor runs away and tries to chase this boy. And he is overcoming some snow hills, and he says, I'm so fed up with all this snow. I want to get to my favorite author, Ernest Hemingway, and he is in the dust and hunting. And he says, look, these are wet and dirty elephants. I don't like it. I want to be to Paris. There is springtime love to my friend Andrey Marois, and it's spring, Paris, the bar. Andrey Marois, with his left hand, hugs a blonde, with another hand, keeps a glass of champagne and says, oh my lord, it's parting. How I'm fed up with all this. I would like to be in Russia in wintertime. Come back to the spirits, to my star Andrei Platonov. It's winter, and Andrei Platonov, who is a janitor, is chasing a boy trying to catch him. So, look, this is the walking through the levels. Well, I don't know whether my joke is well understood by our foreigners, but at least Russians will understand it. Well, guys, this means that there are different levels, different settings around the world, and all the people are different. And therefore, you should not be scared to practice your skill to deal with different levels of people, with different natures of people, and control the level. Try it, and I believe you will like it. Unfortunately, we cannot do it online together with you, therefore, hopefully, you will do it on your own. Whereas now, dear friends, let's stick to the customer's profile. This is the psychological profile. Well, the way people perceive them, who they are, what is important to them, what inspires them, what motivates them, some ideas or some decisions. And at the level of values, there are some perceptions, beliefs that may restrict or limit us. Those things people believe, even if they are contrary to the facts, to the evidence. So, what they like, what they enjoy, what affects them. For instance, when you say one word to another and he simply burns out as a fire. Look, it's a bad idea to determine a person if his way of thinking is at the level of being. In this slide, it is called entity. So never tell them their names, because otherwise they will be offended and you will lose them as your customer. Therefore, if something is bad in someone, so please do not allow yourself to criticize them, to criticize people. The rule is the following: treat people as if they are all good, or in a different way, treat people even better than they seem to you or they are. and they will be better. You know, the sun doesn't care what scientists think, whereas for a person, it cares a lot what others think about him. And this is the end of materialism, and there is idealism. So, and those definitions you use, the person actually is in line with your definition. Always talk about people something good and they will become better. The third level of the customer's portrait or a profile is our skills. How we explain the decisions we make, at which level we are ready to accept information, our habits, how people or why people act subconsciously, and some peculiarities of the perception. So there are people who are visuals. They see it in my practice. Look, ladies, girls, they are more visual, whereas men and gentlemen, there is this disbalance. They have more feelings, although it's my personal observation and I have no statistics, but this is based on my experience. Well, dear friends, if we move from this picture to that one, the customer portrait, so what do we need to say? The builder of the solution. We must call ourselves the builder of the solution, the calculator of the rights, the pilot of the law, as we sell the legal policy and you tell them, when you get a legal policy, you become a calculator of the law, you become a pilot of legality and the editor of your destiny. And these are the phrases to be used to be used when you talk to the people who have the way of thinking of a being. But when you talk to the people who value their personal values, so you must use the different words. I like a lot this term, the editor of your destiny. Well, the next level is personal values. What are the values of a businessman or investor? Development, results, stability, team, if he is a businessman. And if he is an investor, not obligatory. So these are the words to use. And you say, in order to develop and promote and to reach your results, we use this tool that enables you to progress along the labyrinth of legality. The next level is those restricting beliefs. For instance, no, 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 never. You shouldn't do it this way. We will never use the legal policy because we have our own methods and we are used to them. So look, this is their belief which restricts their decision making. It may happen. Why? Because the strongest habit of a person is to follow your habit. The strongest habit is to do as to do in a way you were taught long, long ago. On the one hand, it's not bad because you save up time, but we live in the century of technologies evolving. Therefore, you should take stock of your habits and identify those that slow you down and prevents you from progressing, from ripening the fruits of your efforts. And artificial intelligence will never become stronger than the human intelligence, as it is based on the electric processes, and it is many times faster than the artificial one. Well, what are the habits, thinking habits? Global and detailed. We've discussed it. There are those who think in concepts, in large pieces of information. What for? What is the purpose, the role of this legal policy? Whereas there are those saying, what does this include? And what is the difference if I apply my legal system and this one? What is the difference? Give me 5 reasons or 3 reasons why I should favor your policy. And you must understand that if a person is a global thinker, you should talk with global concepts first. And if a person is the detailization thinker, then you should talk in details. Well, and it means that you must start seeing these peculiarities. And to do it, you need to practice. You all are good at cycling. You all saw how to cycle. And you were even told that if you want to turn left, you turn left. But it took some time until you transfer from your knowledge to the skills. There were some people keeping you safe while you were mastering the skill of cycling. And I actually helped my children a lot. But as soon as they mastered this feeling of balance, then it goes smoothly. And a similar case is here. I'm simply telling you, but you must try. You must practice it on your own, and it will be always with you. If you come back to your bicycle again, no matter what time distance there is between your riding your bike the last time, you will come and start riding it quite easily. So the most important thing is to master your skill, and then it will be with you forever. You will never lose it. So please remember this. And there are some motives, motivational factors, which make us decide. In business situations, in family situations, it's a different thing. There are 3 streams of desires. What are they about? They are power or authority, relations, and achievements. For the people of power, influence, control, and prestige matter. And we may use these words to describe our legal policy. You say, if you want to progress, to control the situation, the legal or policy enables you to do it, as it can predict the negative consequences and turn them into the positive effects. And by the way, many people today use this product, and it is a trend, prestige, and this is the way to present, to sell this product. And if people are of relations, you are to use other words such as trust, communication, friendship, relationship. Whereas the people of achievements, they need the words interesting, challenging, growth, result, satisfaction. And it's very interesting as these are the most modern trends and the needs of surrounding. This is the scope of business, the coverage, access to information, area of interest, market segment. So all these levels being personal values, restricting beliefs, thinking habits. So these are those words to use when you talk to the people. Look, if you work for someone, you are in 70% of cases the people of achievements. And my statistics is the following, that approximately those people who are employed, they are people of achievements. Many managers, they manage, but they are not the people of power. They are people of achievement. And it's not good because quite often they do those tasks their employees must do. But those people who want to do good for everyone, they are people of relations. Well, the level of being, what is important for them is the perception of their role in life, their social status, their special skills, their positive characteristics. It is crucial to pay attention to the person's strength and contribute to the personal image. And your role is not to improve this person, but to give him some benefits. So, by the way, you are to answer the question, who are you? I want to give you an example, which I learned from a company. So every month I generated 800,000 Russian rubles in profits, additional profits. I used to work with one company and it is selling spare parts and it has over 700 distributors around the country, Russia. And I worked with the employees of this company. And at one class, they told me, we have some receivables, and if the receivables are over 2 million, we have no right to supply, to deliver. We are instructed to reduce receivables, and we tell our customers that we may not deliver because your receivables are over 2 million. And you know what they tell us? If you don't deliver, then we will order from others. What is the way out? And I like it, such questions. This is a good task. And look, how you can use the levels of logical thinking so that you create the desire in your client to fulfill your request. Look, back then I said the following, the level of surrounding. I give only one statement. Tom, you've been in business for 15 years. I know more or less the duration. You've been in business for 15 years. So the level of surrounding, where and when. The level of behavior, you are responsible for the efficiency of work with your partners. The level of skills, you are good at knowing the best way to behave, the best way to act. The level of values, because you value results. And the cherry on the pie, Tom, you are the builder, the creator of a solution and the professional in what you do. And you immediately suggest, Tom, no one but only you can resolve our challenge. Please use some triggers and do it. And as soon as you say all this, one by one, with a good tone, and do you know, in March we had a similar complaint. So the girls actually used this trick, and the director general said that there is almost no receivables. So whereas it was 2 million and now it reduced substantially. It's very low. After these ladies were trained in the way to behave, to talk to their customers. So when you create the confidence in the result, starting from the level of surrounding, behavior, skills, values, you may say, Tom, you are responsible for this part of work and you are experts in this. You are the designer of your success. I hope that it's clear what I mean. And another important thing to remember is that you are your knowledge about the legal policy. And there are a lot of different characteristics, peculiar things. But for a person, what matters is this gray part, the table of the point of view of a customer, his needs, four things: what I get when I buy, what I avoid, what I will never get if I refuse. And there were a lot of needs in different order, and there were good text generated. Therefore, dear friends, please say what is important for a customer. Not everything you know, but try to answer those things that are of interest of your prospect, of your customer. So respond to their needs, respond to what they demand. Use the words which the customer needs, the words of his needs, and then it will change the perception of a person by 90%, and the likelihood of getting yes and of their agreeing to buy your product will increase radically. Talk about not what you know, but what is important to your customer. So, the point of view of a customer is the most important. And the question here is how to discover what is their point of view. Well, now a bit lower level. From the level of being, we go down to the level of values. In the right-hand corner, you see this image. In the laboratories, there were these equipments and machines, and they measured the change in the characteristics of something. Well, dear friends, our speech is full of tones. What does it mean? It means that when we say something important, we may make a break before them. Start thinking or stress it with my tone. How you can reveal the values. The person is transparent, is open, he's not reserved. Like there are transparent substances. And in a similar way, when we have some knowledge, some understanding, we can easily get the information about the values of a person we talk to. For instance, we ask him a simple question. A businessman, Tom, what is important to you in your work? And you listen to. You listen to Tom answering the question. you sit and listen to. He will say, result is important, customer satisfaction is important. And then he starts thinking, there is the result, customer satisfaction, what else is important or may be important to you in your work? Well, he answers, for instance, partners are to be good partnership. There should be support, the one I can advise with, as there are many people, but there is no one to get advice, to seek advice. Well, partners, advice. And look, here they are. What are the values of this person? Result, satisfaction of his customers, a good partner, and advice. These are those things that are important. And now you integrate them into your presentation of the legal policy. When you present this product, you must say that we want to have good partners. We want our good partners to have good support, and you can actually write down these words and you will embrace them into your presentation. And this way it will hook the people a lot. Those values you identify, they allow you to be more successful and more useful for our customers. And here you should be a good listener. You don't need a lot of value words. Honestly speaking, the person may give you 4-5 value words. It's enough. You write them down and you know that Tom values this: the customer satisfaction, result, a good partner, and seeking advice. And then immediately these waves of emotionality and positive thinking will happen. We need to speed up, I believe. Well, here there was an exercise. When you get this presentation, you can do this exercise, develop a skill while speaking to your customers in their values and needs. Topics for spontaneous speaking: how our product helps the customer satisfy their needs and desires. And you use these words: development, partnership, reliability, time, income, risk, and you integrate them into your presentation, into your talking with your customer, describing those benefits the customer will get after buying your product, the legal policy. For instance, he may become an expert, or his income will reduce, he will mitigate all the risks of decision making, and you need it not only today but tomorrow and the day after today, tomorrow. And this way you actually expand the borders and you create the additional benefits, and practice the manner of speaking where the words give rise to thoughts. And as this legal policy offers additional opportunities, this is a new level of professionalism, and a person gets more opportunities in what he does. Yes, there are some perceptions in all of us, and we've discussed it. So, there is a topic: how to handle objections and perceptions. I don't know if we need to study it with you, but honestly speaking, we studied it with YouGain project, but if needed, you please let me know and then we can plan. But this information is available And I may not repeat myself, but look, they're quite similar. For the time being, I didn't plan it to do it. Well, beliefs, they are mental, often unrealistic restrictions. So when a person says, I am low paid, so it's not a belief, but there is such a situation that a person is well paid, but nonetheless he says that I am low paid. And you know, this is because he is undervalued, and therefore he has a habit of undervaluing himself. The beliefs are created very quickly. If there is one event followed up by another one, then there is a belief shaped. A good example of such a situation is the following. If you wash your car, rain will start. You understand that many people have this belief because once upon a time he washed his car and then it started raining. Although before he washed his car 10 times with no rain falling. And then sometime after he washed the car again and the rain repeated. So although before in the previous situations while washing the car there was no rain. So beliefs are those things that are not related to the reality. Some elementary things, but these are the way the beliefs are shaped and they slow us down. What to do then? There is a good method. Continue the phrase given by the person you are talking to and turn it into something contrary. This is skill number 6. You continue the phrase. For instance, I am not interested in it unless you see the benefit you get. Or the other option is 3 benefits. Tom, you may not understand me correctly. Firstly, you get this. Secondly, you get that. And thirdly, today this is a trend. And 40,000 customers in our country already use this legal policy. And you make your proposal then. There is another third method or technique of how you can turn beliefs into success. The first time this technique was presented by Konstantin Stanislavski in his book called The Work of an Actor on Himself. It was read by all the best actors of the world. It was written in 1914. And this technique is called as if. A person says, I cannot, it's impossible. And you say, imagine that it is possible. What would you do first, second, third? And imagine that it's possible. Imagine that you can. And this way, these are simple things, fundamental things, without which, if you don't use them, then you are relaxed. And now let's discuss the attitudes. In the pyramid of these logical levels, the attitudes, the abilities. And there is the life position. And what is life position? Life position is your belief about yourself and those who surround you, and we stick to it when we start a dialogue, at the very beginning of the dialogue, when decision making. Vertically, this is my thinking about myself. Can I be positive about myself? Yes, I can. Can I be negative about myself? Quite likely, yes, I can. And what do I think about a different person? Can I think positively or negatively? Yes, you can. And I like these quadrants. And this way, the entire space and interaction between the beliefs and attitudes is divided into 4 quadrants. The first person is I'm an expert. He says, I'm cool, I'm great, and you are not. This is a way to protect yourself from feeling mediocre. They believe that other people find it difficult to do it on their own. They think nobody else could do it right. They are suspicious and they are fond of controlling over other people. They are experts. Straightforward people. They say, you are good and I'm good. Great, we are both good. They are positive thinkers. They believe themselves. They believe in others. They aim for self-development, self-improvement. They respect and believe other people. Do we have such people? Yes, there are a lot of them. The next one is those people who are very trusting. I have a better thinking of myself whether the other one is better. So they are credulous. They are afraid of expressing their attitudes, their points of view. But if you compliment them several times, so they will believe. And the next type is lean. They are people who believe that I am bad and you are bad. They are fond of discounts. They chase for discounts. If you propose something, they say, no, we don't need it. We will do it on our own. They are scared to make mistakes. They are afraid of responsibilities and of some obligations. I don't know who scares them, but maybe before they were heavily criticized by their parents, teachers, or by their coaches or their school peers, schoolmates. And there is nothing behind this habit. They could be great, cool, intelligent, but they're very reserved, I would call them. Try to act in a different way with them. Well, I suggest the following: exercising. If we are in the groups, I will split you into the pairs, and one person would tell his peer about something, the work, his leisure time, weekend, and I ask him to tell it in the following way. You are an expert. Present it that as if you are an expert. And he starts describing his vacations. So we change the tone. So this is the way I had my holidays. And sometimes you are a bit pushy, but without saying which role you play. And the other person is to identify in which position I am. either a straightforward or an expert or the reserved person, and etc. So when they start saying in different ways, so then they ask the partner to guess which role I played. For instance, if you want, I can tell you a story. So that story is about this and that. What do you think? And even by the tone of the voice, you can understand or guess the role of the person. You may fail from the first time, but try to practice it. So sometimes you sound very selfish or straightforward, or you may be very reserved, or there may be a person who seems to like everything but not actually. So there could be these people that are disrespectful. But for us, it's important to follow the feelings of other people. Look, there is a TV set. There are people who still watch TV shows, some news shows. Look at the host of the show. Which attitude he demonstrates to the surrounding and to viewers, TV viewers, and you can determine his position. Quite likely, the hosts are trained so that they play a role of plus plus. You are good and I'm good. But there are those who may not be trained in it. And the most interestingly is that you may not actually hear, but only by judging by postures and gestures, you can identify who is in front of you. A person who is straightforward or an expert in everything. Well, what can you tell me? An expert or a trustful person. Even by gestures, you can identify them. Well, you need to talk to different people in a different way because an expert will never talk to you until you listen to him. Listen carefully, and it's important to repeat, yes, I understand, yes, it's important, yes, I see, yes, I got it. Pause before answering. Tell them what they omitted or missed. This way they will replace your minus with a plus. Once I talked to one boss. He created the retail chain of one of the largest bank chains in our country. I met him and I wanted to sell my products. And he started asking, who are you? Why did you come? What can you propose? Did you see who I am? Did you prepare for meeting with me? Why did you come here? What can you offer? And I told him, look, I came here to meet you, to have a discussion and help you and understand if I can be of your help. Can you be of my help? I will not repeat this dialogue, but eventually he said, are you scared? And I answered, yes. At first I was a bit, but it's normal. But by the way, I didn't understand how I can be useful. And he asked me, what can you be useful? What is use of you? And I told him, do you know the highest threat to your business? And he was interested to find out which one. And then actually he accepted my offer. He was surprised. Why? If I behaved in a different way, he would never agree to deal with me. But then I told him, you asked me whether I saw your profile. I actually studied it in detail, and you have a very peculiar feature. You can see what no one else sees. You see the first trends, and you are the first in the market. Therefore, you have this competitive power, this competitive advantage. And he says, yes, you are right. Wow. And therefore, when you start talking, pay attention to such things. And by the way, he didn't ask me how much it may cost. He simply agreed and accepted my proposal. Straightforward. They think about us in a positive way. Good for you to offer it. Time's short. What are the benefits? What is it about? And then, in a brief way, make the presentation. And in the end, ask, what do you think? How do you find it? And he says, well, in general, it's good. Trustful. He doesn't believe us a bit. No, he believes us, but he doesn't believe himself. Therefore, we must show respect to them, make a presentation in parts, asking in between, what do you think? How do you find it? We ask for his appreciation, for his point of view many times. And therefore, when he gives a plus to himself, after that, we move from here to there. And how to work with the lean, with the economical one, with the reserved one, as he doesn't believe himself and us, and give him some positive experiences. You tell them by giving an example. So this guy tried it, then refused, and after refusing, after seeing his friend using it, so he tried it again. Then you give another evidence so that you get a plus from him. And when he gives you a plus and starts smiling, then he is listening to you more attentively. And then you ask him, what do you think about some simple things? And this way, from this reserved person, you transform him into the trustful person and then into the straightforward. It could be done very quickly after 2-3 phrases or after 3-4 phrases, a bit longer. I will wrap it up. Actually, I will speed up without going into detail. Hopefully, you can understand me. So, the habit of thinking, our global thinking or detailed thinking, thinking in detail. When you study or learn something, when you try to understand something, which information do you prefer? Do you need some global understanding or some global phrases? When do you feel more comfortable? When you go from detail to more common, or from the global you come to details? And the peculiarities of the global is that, first of all, you see the trends and you see the consequences, the effects. You are inspired with ideas, with some details. They like. So the detailed thinker loves digging into details, likes to puzzle out the complicated and resolve a big task containing a smaller ones. They find it difficult to explore new ideas or reflect on something. They shrink the scope of thinking. Well, a detailed thinker will never say that sales are the production of customers for our products, whereas the global thinker will like this statement that sales are a process of creating customers for our products. Well, the way to sell to the global thinker: share the statistics in sales in the region, its evolution, the competitive advantages of our product, the benefits, the use, those who buy it, the power of the solution you offer. So, generalize, sometimes going into detail, and then you start generalizing again. So, find those solutions that are not in power of a common person. Whereas a detailed thinker, for him, you provide specific information about the product's features and specifications. Important. Ask the customer how they use the product, when and what for. Show them all the properties or options that can be beneficial to the certain customer. Demonstrate them. If you talk to them as a global thinker, they may not understand your offer. They will believe that you are imagining and the motives. So, the power, relations, and achievements. When a person says me, I, me, so this is a man of achievements. When a person says we, team, we are the team, together with my team, with my guys, he is a person of relations. And whereas he says me and I tell them and they do, this is a man of power. You may not calculate the pronouns. You simply close your eyes and ask yourself how many people I saw while he was speaking. If a person says only me, my, I, me, then he's only the one. But when a person says we did that, we did this, so then he is in a crowd of people. So this is a man of relations. And whereas a person says I tell them, they implement, he may be bigger, and aside or behind there are smaller people. He is a man of power, and you will easily spot it out that you should sell power to a person of power, to a man of power. A man of power likes to give orders, control people, manage and influence others, likes to take responsibility, can downplay other people's contribution to the result and exaggerate their role. How to speak, what to say to these people? Legal policy will help you control the process at any time, make decisions, influence, be more confident and sure that everything will be in line with your plan. A man of relation, they prefer to be friends, communicate, support, make other people happy, be attentive. And you say, by means of the legal policy, you get timely support. You can help timely yourself, your company, your enterprise, and indeed, it actually makes people loyal to you, and you are confident in your results, in your joint activities, and you get to a higher level. So, this is the way. And people of achievements, they prefer to work alone and achieve the results on their own. Want challenging tasks, be first, want to win, surprise, delight, and you say that legal policy is for successful people. This product is a tool of success for those who aim or who value results, who aim at results, for those people who want to save time, find the best solutions, make the best documents in a more efficient way. And moreover, you can develop your skills and abilities in your area, in your business. And this way, we get this map of access to the customer, where the treasures are: an expert, straightforward, trustful, and reserved. Well, you see whether he's an expert, straightforward, or trustful. When a person starts saying, what first of all, what does he say first of all? He says what is important. So you ask him a few questions and you get 5 value words. You may write down or remember them and then use them, integrate them into your speech, into your presentation. Then you identify his requirements, his restrictions or limits. It may be related with some moral values. You will understand which words you do not need to repeat. And then the needs, what they need. And you present these needs. There was a presentation about the needs, and you pay attention to whether they are global or detailed thinkers. And then there are 3 levels: the level of power, or the man of power, the man of relations, and the man of achievements. And for instance, if he loves mountain skiing or he likes walking, you can discuss this with him, discuss his hobby with him. If you are not a hunter or if you are not a fisherman, so you'd better not discuss this topic. But if you are good at it, then why not? And this is the portrait of a customer. After that, you can prepare very well and visual, audio, kinesthetic, and digital. So the feelings, the mentality, and we have the beliefs that prevent the information go through. Therefore, when we talk to a person, we must see his limitations, his restrictions, that are his filters. If he likes visualization, then start visualizing together with him. So there are different levels we've studied, and therefore, at our previous lesson, there was such a phrase: Tom, look. So this is visualization. First of all, you get this and that, and you feel that it could be of your benefit, and etc. So if feelings, you activate the feelings. Then you can say, you can see, again, visualization is active. So you need to draw a dimensional picture. And we didn't write it down how to reflect it, how to reveal it, as we neglect the technique of identification of the leading system of perception, because you should be able to present in all the 4 systems. People get very little information through the audio-visual system. They feel more. And the logical system is important as well. Therefore, please use it. And also, always use this formula: 2 you, 1 we. Tom, you work there and there, you do this and that, and we work with the following. And then, secondly, you get this and that. Firstly, secondly, lastly, what do you think? How about this? Do you like it? How do you find it? So make some short phrases, not longer than 20 seconds, and make your proposal. So these are most efficient technique to use. And I would recommend you the challenging sales. This is the final exercise. So there are teams of 3 people. So the customer, salesperson, and an observer. And we ask the customer to tell us what he will never buy. And the customer makes up something. And in the first round, without preparation, the salesperson starts persuading the customer to buy it. And the customer, in a patient way, patiently tries to explain why he doesn't need. And the observer fills out the customer portrait sheet. And then the observer discusses the customer portrait with the salesperson. They rehearse the appropriate phrases to say. They start believing that the product is helpful and great. The product is what this person definitely needs because it will be of high benefit and value in his life. And then, round number 3, the salesperson tries to persuade the customer to choose this product. The observer watches the salesperson's tones and the customer's responses and give recommendations, remind about intonation of sincerity and confidence, and controls the pace of voice. And look, when we exercise, about 80% of customers eventually buy that they would never buy. And then is a portrait of a customer's profile. So his life position, whether he's straightforward, expert, trustful, or reserve. Then the key words, these are value words, the beliefs that you cannot behave this way, and the global detailed, the man of power, relations or achievements, and some hobbies you may identify. For instance, he is fond of driving his car. He has a sports car, so maybe this is his hobby. And then you write down some phrases, some text of your presentation to use, and this way you practice your skills to sell a customer, a potential customer, something they don't actually need, but by doing this exercise you can practice this. Well, that is the end of our today's session. I do apologize for being too long. Hello, Anastasia. Do we have participants? Aren't they sleepy yet? Yes, 1 hour, 40 minutes. I do apologize, guys, but the topic was very complicated. I could speed up, but it would be of no value then. Well, Alexander, thank you very much. Anastasia says that it was very informative and very interesting. And every time we have sessions with Alexander, there are some simple things, but you dig so deep that the puzzle becomes complete and it's very clear. And today I am speaking with you from Dubai. There was some bad connection at the very beginning of our event, I managed to be online till the end. Thank you very much, Alexander, for the third session, Portrait of a Customer. And please use this not simply as a tool, but even the slides. You may open this and use it and come back and master your skills and again. Well, great. Do we have any questions while Alexander is still with us? There is a question. How to neutralize negative behavior? I believe at our first session we discussed it, but I will repeat it. Look, there are some people who you contact and you may not fall asleep. You are worried, you are concerned. And some psychologists say that salespeople burn out. But look, we are all professionals, and I can tell you the following, that those people who do not understand the internal state of salespeople, they do not burn out, so they fire them out. For instance, when there are negative people and you start blaming yourself, and from the very beginning, we discussed what is the difference between a successful and less successful person. So that is your internal dialogue. Never blame yourself. So a human being is the only person who talks to himself. So therefore, you may talk and have a positive dialogue with yourself. But sometimes it may not help. Actually, it helps, it always helps, but sometimes we forget to have the internal dialogues with ourselves and compliment ourselves. So you can do it in a simple way. Please imagine a person in front of you. You see the situation, he is criticizing you and shouting, and in your thoughts, please get them far away from you, make him smaller, smaller, and smaller, and then send him to outer space. And do it several times. So you actually build longer distance between you, so this personality gets smaller and smaller, and then you say bye-bye. So this is the way to overcome your fears after talking to a person who offended you, or how to deal with a person who is dealing with you right now. Look, when a person starts abusing you, you simply imagine that his nose is growing up and he's cursing. Then you see his ears growing a lot, getting reddish. And then actually you start smiling when you imagine him in this way. And you will see that his reaction will change. He will never curse you and he will never criticize you anymore. It's very primitive and simple, but many people never use this technique. Try to do it. Hopefully, I managed to answer your question. Cool, Alexander. We use another technique. So you can imagine a person naked. When there is someone aggressive and telling you off, simply imagine this person naked, and then your attitude will be different. So why are you talking to me as if you don't have your trousers on? So these are good techniques. Please use them. I like the approach used by Alexander because they work with our conscientious and subconsciousness, so we can expand our abilities and capacities. We simply imagine in our heads some things, but it has a positive impact on our emotions, on our state, on our confidence. self-confidence. Use this. And there was another question about those people being abusive. There was something, how to avoid it. So simply neglect them, their rudeness. When people are rude and arrogant, how to avoid it? Simply avoid. This is in the chat. Well, dear friends, I can tell you the following. When people are rude, we are to be blamed a bit. I can give you a different example. Maybe your posture is not adequate. So try to influence people subconsciously. Look, as soon as your body occupies larger space, more space, do not look as if you are fat and overweight, but expand your arms. So it means that subconsciously, your subconsciousness treats you with more respect. You keep your back straight, you talk slower, and subconsciously we believe that this person is important. But people will never be rude if a person is important. So but when I say too fast, look, I will tell you something. So then a person says, who you are nothing. But as soon as you change your tone of voice and your back is straight, your shoulders are straight, so you actually in the middle of this space, you speak in a calm and slow voice. So that is the way, and no reaction. If someone is rude, then simply tell them, let's pretend that I didn't hear you. And I don't respond to it, do not react to it. And let these words be with you. You may say this. Let these words be with you. And as Vladimir Putin, Russian president once said, the one who tells you off, who tells your name, actually this name is his. Yes, that's true, because we can project it. Well, these are those things that you are to be able to use. And sometimes we believe that we have a lot of things around us, and you need to think it over. What do I do if the world treats me in such a way? And my philosophy actually confirms that if you understand that the entire world is our mirror, and therefore if the people surround you that behave to you in such a way, then you need to retune yourself and treat everyone in a way you want them to treat you. So treat yourself honestly inside yourself. So treat this world with respect, and everyone will treat you with respect as well. And there is another question, an interesting one, by the way. Now there is a technology to read a person 95% in 30 seconds. His motivations, needs, weaknesses, and strengths. Look, as far as I understand, quite likely we are talking about the programs. By the way, I worked with such a team, these video portraits. They identify the faces, track the faces, and at the same time, there are some movements, mimics, and some tiny almost not obvious. There should be high quality cameras that could actually train the software through long processes of training to detect something, to identify something. But in theory, I believe it's possible. And in practice today, in my view, I will browse the internet, but I think we may not do it fully. And even when we can track it, who will read? Not the artificial intelligence. Although those scripts we have prepared, they have been prepared for the artificial intelligence to teach, to train the machines. And those scripts were designed for the special software. But yes, I believe there is such a possibility, but for the time being, they are not used to the full extent. I believe that 10 years after, they will be better developed. But this is the system of artificial systems. But I'm sure that any person may self-develop. And I don't need time to talk to a person. For me, 5 minutes is enough to see how he says, what he says, and then I can easily understand him. And there was some exercising when there are people who don't know each other and they all give their feedback about their feelings they experienced after getting to know this person. So your associations, and I had these trainings when there was a training for 25 people in a closed room, 3-day workshop. There was this exercise to provide feedback to those people you don't even know. They were on the stage, and your task is to share the first impressions of this person. This is a cool technique, and please apply it in your teams and work it out. If you can come together and then everyone will actually share his or her feedback about the impressions they have of the people they meet for the first time. And this way, you may learn something new, something special that you generate in other people. You can work it out and become better by learning this feedback. It may not be always comfortable for you, but you should improve this. When criticism is constructive, it is for our better. Well, but this is a very philosophical question. I like this topic a lot, and we have had many trainings and many courses on this, and me personally, I did it. I did it. So a person in front of you, what to expect from him in the future. These are very interesting things, but from the point of view of sales and customers, this is a very simple technique and methodology you may use if you master it well. Then now, let's have a look at our slides of the legal policy to remind you a bit so that you can watch it again. My name is Anastasia Yaguzhinskaya. Thank you very much for your participation in today's webinar. I am Evorich Ambassador and Vice President for Russia and the Legal Policy Project Manager. And the first question, which is always asked, which is set to be asked to everyone, is the first question to be asked. The first question you ask a person you want to present our legal policy is the following: have you ever used legal services? And we always get a response from many people whether it is in demand. Alexander is disconnected. I will thank you once again, and in the end there will be a shared farewell. Well, legal policy, how often people use it? And asking this question and asking your surrounding, you will learn whether it is in demand or not, and what are the reasons why for people to hire lawyers. The first reason is business. Every person, when he reaches some age, he becomes independent and wants to become a businessman. So, from a status of an entrepreneur, you come to a status of a businessman, and there is a question of how to establish your business in an adequate and legal way, as this is the foundations based on which our business either may prosper or actually become dangerous or become of no relevance. Therefore, the reason of business, this is the first concern. And from the legal point of view, it's important to structure and design your business in an adequate way. The second reason is your urban development. So, construction planning. We are human being and we all need to register our real estate in a proper way, and we all have some real estate, and even when we use some agencies, this is our concern. So the next reason is family matters, some accidents, casualties, and when something bad happens or some conflicts, both from the point of view of the documents, or I don't actually like it, but we have it when there are some grievances. But how to deal with it if you have no knowledge? And when you have the support of a lawyer, and there are a lot of people who actually relieved their burden when they hired a professional who, at court trial, managed to win the case or resolve the issue. Because independently, without the knowledge, you may not deal or resolve the issue, very complicated one. You need a professional with the experience. You need the one who many times has dealt with such issues, and only such a professional may find different ways to resolve it. A solution for everyone, so that everyone gets support. There should be the individual lawyer and the defense counsel. And therefore, we may hire a lawyer for the company or even a team of lawyers so that they continuously monitor the legal aspects of the business operations, in particular if there are affiliates or branches in other countries. In terms of individuals, we all, as ordinary customers, it's much more difficult. And the solution is here. This is an opportunity which is accessible to everyone at the high quality level everyone would like to have. Next slide, please. And this is the level of quality of knowledge from the point of view of experience and knowledge, and this is a legal policy as an electronic document that gives a chance to its holder to get a full range of legal and counseling services within a period of effect of the policy. So the project will be promoted in a way that it is available to everyone 24/7 with your access to the knowledge hub, to the experience and lawyers and defense counsel and legal services required by a person in any situation. And we apply here breakthrough artificial technologies, AI technologies, and other business methodologies. I will detail them a bit later as our specialists improve them in a continuous way and we find new opportunities so that you feel most comfortable while working with it, while selling, so that you can easily sell and use this product. Our domains of competence. So, civil, family, land, and administrative law, employment disputes, investment citizenship matters, and AML policy development and franchise law. So, legal liability insurance of legal advisors and step by step counseling to establish a company abroad or in CIS member states. Here, you simply need to make a phone call and you will get a full plan of how to behave so that in a legal way and within the short time possible, in a cost efficient way, you can go through all the practices, processes, so that your business prosper, including abroad. And here there will be another technology applied we work with, and this is the first robotized legal advisor for people. We called him Sirius, artificial intelligence, and it will enable you to get the information you need by asking a question. Now, this is machine and it is being trained and it can answer over 3,500 questions and daily it is developed further and it can support you any moment and its global goal and mission is, so our goal is to develop a digital expert that after analyzing the data and queries received before, it will generate replies in line with the legal logics. So, by replacing a team of highly qualified lawyers, I would even say not by replacing, but by helping our lawyers in anticipation of your seeking their advice, it will be able to answer some repeat questions because for the majority of people our concerns are more or less the same and it can optimize this and service many people, and if it's not enough then he may redirect you to the call center. Next slide please. Well, here you see that our benefits are 24/7 online support in any corner of the world, different packs and varieties of services from our best lawyers and attorneys, and in any time within the shortest time of your queries processing. So we offer the quality onto the market, which is today better. So there is no one else, only our team can offer this high class quality. our partners, Dilettante Island Company, they have a team of specialists with over 10 years of experience in serving major customers across the globe, having extensive expertise in setting up businesses in over 50 states, and gradually starting from Russia, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, and Belarus, we will open other countries, and in another 1-2 years we plan to open our top 10 in our community and work with private companies and corporate clients. And therefore, when you come to us seeking legal advice, you could be confident that our lawyers are of high standard, and in our professional community they are well recognized. If you Google the name of this company, you will see the merits of this company, what they already reached, and the recognition our partners have in their area. Next slide, please. Well, the tariffs. The product is ready. Quite soon it will be announced. And now we have several tariffs that include different packages of services: standard, business advisor, business premium, global business. Next slide, please. Well, here the best and the strongest points of us. So you may take a phone and tell any person that 24/7 we have 24 lawyers, specialists with good expertise and experience may advise you on any matter you may have. And availability will be very easy. Our even Sirius, you can show it how it operates to your friends, and friends will say how interesting it is. We want to try it, as we apply cost efficient pricing. So, look, if you understand the method of pricing, they include many things. Whereas here, so we pay extra. Whereas here, first of all, we get the comprehensive work done, and we understand that the comprehensive work can make us the services better, and we may save time on resolving your matters. You don't need to look for a specialist, get some recommendations. Generally, we phone a friend describing the situation, asking them to recommend someone, and he says, look, I dealt with one lawyer, but he was in a different sector, but maybe he will help you. And when we contact a lawyer and ask a question, then we found out that the lawyer has never done it. I personally had some issues with the utilities, and a lawyer who was recommended, he was recommended as a good lawyer, but he has never dealt with utilities sector, and this story is unknown to him, and I had to find another guy. And this time spent on finding the lawyer and on finding the best way to resolve my issues, it is time consuming. Whereas these professionals and their accessibility is something unmeasurable. Well, and we've said that the coverage is very broad. There are a lot of areas, countries to be covered, and in addition to that, here we have an extensive scope of activities. And everything you may encounter, our lawyers can help you. And then there is this possibility to streamline and to optimize the services. So if we develop further, we may expand the team of our lawyers, but it's not the goal for the time being. If in every country we have a team of, to say, 25 lawyers, it will be enough. And most importantly, that these lawyers are professionals and representing different sectors. And the use of AI powered technology will speed up this service, and we are always nearby 24/7. This is the tool no one offers, and we are very unique in our product. Next slide, the last slide, by the way. I am very thankful to you for being with us today, for your studying this story, this session provided by Alexander, the customer's profile, the customer's portrait, and this information about the legal policy project. Thank you very much for your attention. We will discuss the tariffs a bit later, whereas now we want to introduce another tariffs as well, so that a person may try it and may recommend other people. So therefore, please be patient. As soon as all the tariffs are ready, then I will update you about them. Well, thank you very much for your attention, for your time. Once again, I wish you all the best. And I convey a lot of sun to all of you from Dubai. And after this webinar, please share your feedback, your scores, as an indication of your appreciation of the knowledge you got today. So thank you very much, and I wish you a good day, evening, or night. Bye bye, and take care. It was me, Anastasia Yaguzhinskaya, with you.